Good evening all. I'm Aditi Lamba with the Thursday night edition of South Asian News, Vision of Asia. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Welcome to the show. Let's begin this episode taking a look at the coronavirus pandemic and its impact. The world has surpassed 219 million cases of COVID-19 with more than 4 million deaths. Here in the United States, we are at more than 43 million cases of COVID-19 and have now surpassed 695,000 deaths in the nation. Currently, an average of nearly 2,000 people have been dying from the coronavirus and more than 114,000 people have been getting infected every day. This comes as hospitals in parts of the nation continue to be overwhelmed with an overly tired medical community. Booster doses on eligible groups have also started across pharmacies in the country, but the focus still remains on individuals who haven't had their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine yet. If you have not gotten your COVID-19 vaccine, please do so. Visit vaccines.gov for more information. With this, we have tonight more on COVID-19 updates and an exclusive featuring blockbuster movie Shang-Chi. Here are the headlines coming in. CDC urges pregnant and breastfeeding women to get COVID-19 vaccine, Dr. Tushar Patel, New Jersey. US surpasses 392 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine, Dr. Purvi Parikh, New York City. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings becomes the highest grossing movie in pandemic, featuring director Destin Daniel Cretton. It's time for a short break on Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm Aditi Lama and this is Vision of Asia Thursday night episode of South Asian News. On coronavirus updates and more, the US CDC today issued a health advisory to increase COVID-19 vaccinations among women who are pregnant, recently pregnant, or are trying to become pregnant in order to prevent serious illness and death. The CDC said that the data showed only 31% of pregnant women have been vaccinated against COVID-19, and the uptake of vaccines for pregnant women has been lower compared to the general population. Based on analysis that the vaccine did not increase the risk for miscarriage, the agency in August said that this group of women should be vaccinated to prevent any serious complications for the mother and the child. The agency also said that in addition to risk of illness and death for pregnant people, there is also an increased risk of preterm birth in COVID-19 infected individuals. So it's even more important now than ever to get vaccinated if you are or are planning to be pregnant. On this and much more, we spoke with ITV Go's senior health expert, Dr. Tushar Patel. Here is Dr. Patel. This urgent plea that the CDC made today. The CDC is urging pregnant women that want to be pregnant, and breastfeeding women to go get the COVID-19 vaccine. They're saying only about 30% of pregnant women in the country right now are fully vaccinated. How are you looking at this? Why do you think the CDC now is urging these women to get vaccinated?
So now we have enough data after 6-7 months of vaccination availability, and we have enough data for the safety for those pregnant female who wants to get the vaccination. And that is the whole reason CDC is coming with this recommendation that, hey, this is the time to get the vaccination and protect yourself and your inborn child as well.
Yes, when we're talking about this, I was reading on the dangers of COVID-19 if you get it while you're pregnant. Could you tell our viewers into what could happen to you in case you get COVID-19 while you're pregnant or while you're even about to deliver?
It becomes very, very complicated because this is a viral illness, just like HIV. You can easily spread the virus to your offspring inside your womb, and the infection can get very deadly. The mother can suffer from pneumonia, and the child can come with respiratory difficulties even at beginning of their birth. So it's very, very important, those pregnant female, to get the vaccination as quickly as possible to avoid all these complications.
What's the worst case scenario that could happen?
Stillbirth, the child can die inside of the womb, or as soon as the baby is delivered, the baby can die as soon as
Oh wow,
it's born. Yeah,
that's
very scary
troublesome.
situation. Yes, very troublesome.
Yeah, so I hope these women get vaccinated because we're trying to get that number up. Let's now talk about vaccinations in general, doctor. I have a bunch of questions about many things. Let's first talk about how are you looking at the fact that about 55% of the US population is now fully vaccinated. Is that enough? And how are you looking at the surges that we're seeing in parts of the nation where the vaccination rates are very low?
So two things here. The good news is about 64% of adults at least received one dose, 55% fully vaccinated, as you mentioned. 184 million people are fully vaccinated. However, to get the community immunity, herd immunity, we need at least 70, 75, up to 80% individuals to get vaccinated. The good news is more than 65 and older, more than 93% of people received at least one dose, and 88% are fully vaccinated. So our vulnerable population is already protected from that herd immunity. However, there are 40 plus percentage of individuals did not even get one dose of vaccine. So that is very, very concerning, and that is the hold right now in fighting against this pandemic in this country.
Yes, doctor, you have a lot of contacts in many states where we're seeing surges of cases and deaths. For all our audience, we're losing about 2,000 people a day right now. Can you tell us what is happening in these hospitals? What kind of news are you hearing? What are the conditions? How is the medical community feeling?
So there are two things. There are plateau of new daily cases, steadily decreasing, about 16% down this week than last week. There are about 10 states in this country has increased number of cases this week. Good news is southern states like Florida, the cases are declining. Midwest and Northeast are increasing. Overall, there are about 1,000% greater number of cases now than in June 2021. So we have a long way to go. There are definitely some declinations in the hospital. Inpatient and ICU are down about 8% and 6%. However, there are 19 states are reporting high number of hospitalization this week only, which is about 400% more compared to June 2021. So we are not up the hook yet. Things are getting little better than before, but as far as the hospitalizations and the deaths, we still have concerning numbers coming out.
How do those doctors feel, Dr. Patel, the ones that are, attending to these unvaccinated individuals? Because if I'm right, most of the infections are with unvaccinated individuals that we're seeing. How is it for the medical community?
Medical community is very frustrated now because we have a vaccine available, resources available to get the vaccine, get them fully protected. However, some of the individuals are still vaccine naysayers. They're still researching on the vaccine. Unfortunately, I need to tell those individuals that the United States government spent $30+ billion in developing this vaccination. The safety, efficacy were already checked. There is no more research needs to be done on an individual basis, and we all need to get the vaccination as soon as possible.
More on coronavirus updates and measures. This is being called the pandemic of the unvaccinated, and doctors who are on the front line are pleading all to get the COVID-19 vaccine to give them some break from infections and deaths. Cases and deaths continue to present somber numbers, with many experts worried about the fall and winter coming and the impact of COVID-19 on these seasons. About 55% of the population is now fully vaccinated. This comes as the awareness and push towards the third dose, the booster dose of the vaccine, has been seen across the country, with nearly 400,000 at-risk Americans already vaccinated with the booster dose 6 months after their second inoculation. On this, the World Health Organization has said that perhaps the United States should be sending more doses to the COVID-19 vaccine to poor and vulnerable nations that have not access to vaccines instead of focusing on third dose for Americans. On this and much more, we have now our conversation with Dr. Purvi Parekh. Here is Dr. Parekh. Debates are still going on for some reason across the country on mask mandates in school, as well as vaccine mandates for school staff and teachers. I'd like to know your personal medical opinion on mask mandates in school and its importance. And also, while you're responding to that, how do you feel about certain states that are banning these mask mandates in the schools?
Right. So masks, we already know, I don't know why it's being debated, but they work, and just even from a common sense standpoint, if everybody has something covering their nose and mouth, it's much less likely for viruses or any other germs to spread person to person. The mask mandates in schools are very dangerous, especially for young children, because, they're very important for young children, but banning them would be very, very dangerous, because if children aren't protected, especially before they have a vaccine, they can easily spread it. Schools will have to be shut down, and then the children have to return back to remote learning. And remember, before we thought that children were unaffected by COVID-19, but that's not true. We are now seeing a huge increase in pediatric infections, and 1 in 5 cases currently are pediatrics, and it's not always mild. We're seeing kids pass away. We're seeing kids in the ICU. And think about it, even one child who gets affected and severely ill is too many.
Right. What is the biggest cause of this rise in cases, according to you, in children, doctor?
I think it's the new variants, because the new variants are much more contagious than the original strains of the virus. And so that's what we're seeing as they mutate. They are infecting children more so because they spread so quickly. Like for Delta to spread, you only have to be close to someone for 5 minutes, whereas originally it was 15 minutes. So as you can tell, it takes very little, especially if you aren't vaccinated and protected, which all kids under age 12 currently are not. The other concern too is that children can infect others, right? So even if they get mild forms, they can bring it home to grandma or grandpa, make them very ill, or if their parents or teachers have serious medical conditions, that's other things to consider too.
Right. Are you concerned about parents that themselves have not gotten the vaccine and probably will not get their children vaccinated? How will that affect the country, doctor?
Yeah, absolutely. The vaccines are our way to kind of move out of this pandemic. And much of what we're seeing is due to people not being vaccinated. So 99% of deaths are all unvaccinated individuals. Over 90% of hospitalizations are all unvaccinated individuals. So if parents don't get vaccinated and they don't vaccinate their children, it's only going to cause more problems and delay us getting out of this pandemic. The other problem too is these new variants that are emerging. They are coming out of unvaccinated individuals because they're the ones who are passing around the virus. So if that continues, my fear is there might be a variant where the vaccines are not working as well. And all the progress we made, I would hate to see go backwards.
What kind of news are you getting from across the country in overly capacity hospitals with exhausted staff? What are you hearing in the medical community?
It's very bad. Healthcare workers are at the point of complete exhaustion and burnout. Many are having to leave the jobs because they can't handle it. We're hearing increase of even suicides already. Healthcare workers were very burnt out even before the pandemic, and this is really straining because there's been no break. Some of these frontliners have been working nonstop for almost 19 months now, and it's very stressful and tiring to care for COVID patients because they're much, much sicker than average patients, and they demand much more. So I really worry that we're going to burn out our healthcare force, and then, who's going to take care of everyone?
Exactly, and not to forget, they're constantly exposed to the disease.
Yeah.
Even when they're wearing their PPE,
Right.
We've heard stories of doctors dying because of COVID-19. Let's now talk about the booster dose, doctor. There's so many questions about it. About 400,000 Americans have already received their third dose. President Biden also got his first dose, his third dose. How are you looking at the booster dose and its importance? And Many are saying around across the world that perhaps these vaccines should be sent over to other parts of the world where they don't have enough vaccines. Do you think the US is doing it too soon?
Yeah, I mean, those are great questions. So what we know is, a lot of the data coming out of Israel, right, about the need for booster doses. For them, it was very necessary to start giving them to most of their population because, again, their healthcare system was getting overwhelmed. Even their healthcare force was getting sick again. So even fully vaccinated individuals. So I think for certain folks, the booster is crucial. I don't necessarily think every single person may need a booster, but we have evidence that immunity does start to wane. And I think after this booster dose, we won't need as many because the longer the gap between the vaccine doses, the more robust the immune response. So the reason why we had to do the first 2 doses so close was because we're in a pandemic. So we were in a rush to get everyone protected. But I think after this dose, hopefully there may not be a need for as many. And I completely agree. I mean, people need to get their first shot before Americans are getting their third. So that I think we need to do more in getting vaccines out to areas of the world that don't have access because an outbreak anywhere is an outbreak everywhere. So we're actually protecting ourselves by helping other countries get vaccine supply. I think more can be done and we should be doing more. So yes, for certain individuals, boosters are important. If you're immunocompromised, if you're high risk, being continuously exposed, certain age groups, absolutely. But I don't think necessarily everyone needs to run out and get a booster because still the vaccines are protecting well against death, against hospitalizations, and 100% we should be sharing it globally because, again, by just vaccinating a few countries, we also are not going to move out of this pandemic.
Well, it's now time for another short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. Again, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm Aditi Lama and this is Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has now surpassed another Marvel Cinematic Universe's film Black Widow and has become the highest grossing movie in the United States during the pandemic. The movie is a blockbuster success and a huge moment of recognition for the Asian American community. In the movie, martial arts master Shang-Chi, played by Simu Liu, confronts his past he thought he had left behind when he's drawn into the web of mysterious Ten Rings organization. Shang-Chi now has made more than $196 million and is still playing in theaters near you. This has been a sign that people are willing and eager to return back to the cinemas during this pandemic. We have tonight a conversation with director of Shang-Chi, Destin Daniel Cretton. Here is the conversation. Destin, thank you so much for giving us your time on ITV Gold with a South Asian network going across the nation. My first question to you has to be, you are bringing one of the biggest movies of the year, if not the biggest. What responsibility do you think lies on you right now with this movie?
Who are you?
I hold the responsibility of giving everybody a really enjoying ride for 2 hours, and I gladly am holding that responsibility with a really amazing of actors and performers that I'm so excited for the world to see what they've done.
Right. Over 3,000 artists are a part of this movie. Talk to us about leading an organization as big as this with all these people around. How was that experience for you as a director?
It's pretty amazing to walk on set, and it really feels like you're walking into a city full of people who are all collectively giving their talents and their individual gifts to telling this story. And it really makes it very easy to be proud of the finished product when I see the fingerprints of all of these people that I've grown to love over the last two years plastered all over this story.
You walked in my shadow. I trained you. Most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you.
Right. Right, everyone's talking about the Asian influence in the movie, the fact that there's finally time for an Asian superhero. How are you looking at all of that, and what do you hope the audience gains out of it?
I hope that this gives our audience something that we haven't had before. Growing up, I did not have a superhero that I could dress up like on Halloween or look up to, who looked like me or talked like me. And I'm very excited for the world to meet this new superhero and to see him interact with all of the other great superheroes in the MCU.
Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. That's not going to happen. It's a new era, yes, I come alive.
Right, let's talk a little bit more about the movie. I have some questions about certain scenes without giving away the movie. There is a really important scene towards the second half of the movie which happens between Shang-Chi and his father. I'd like to know, it's towards the end and it's a huge moment in the movie. What went through your mind when creating that scene? And what was the brief given to the actors?
Simu and Tony, when they are together in a scene, there wasn't a lot of briefing that needed to be done. They both had done so much preparation and were tapping into so many deep emotions from their own life or from the research that they did for these characters that once you put them on screen together, they naturally were just exploding. And there was so much charged emotion, both physically and emotionally, that were pumped into those scenes from their performances, and it's pretty spectacular to watch.
What was the most challenging aspect for you as a director?
One of the biggest challenges of this movie is to remember that even though it is a giant movie with huge special effects and big action scenes, it's equally as important to concentrate on the characters and to concentrate on the intimacy of the emotions that they're feeling and going through. And that is something that I think makes Marvel movies so special, is that they put the characters and the emotions on the same level as the spectacle. And I feel very happy with the balance that we found in this film.
Outrun who you really are.
What do you say to Asian American kids around the country that are looking up to this movie right now?
I can't wait for Asian American kids to see this. And see how they respond to this character. I feel like the journey of Shang-Chi in this movie will be very relatable to the Asian experience and to honestly to anybody. I think the journey of self-discovery of learning how to step into the shoes that you were meant to be stepping into is something that anybody can relate to, and I can't wait for them to meet Shang-Chi.
Destin, thank you so much for your time on ITV Gold today.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Hold on, everybody! Who are you?
With this, we wrap up our show for the night. Please send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on our Facebook handle @itvgold. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for free access to many of our popular shows. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Diti Lamba. Take care and be well.